Hello and welcome to News Tonight on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha. Before we take you through what made news through the day, Rajya Sabha TV appeals to all its viewers to stay safe from the coronavirus infection. Maintain COVID-appropriate behavior, wear face masks, wash your hands and face regularly, and maintain physical distancing whenever you step outside. These simple precautions are all that it takes to defeat the pandemic, which is not over yet. And now the headlines of the day. Confident youth crucial to achieving Atmanirbhar Bharat, says Prime Minister Narendra Modi in a webinar on implementation of budget provisions in the education sector. Asserts budget broadens government's efforts to link education with employability, entrepreneurial capability. Union Cabinet approves India-Fiji agreement for cooperation in the agricultural sector. Also gives nod to a pact with France on renewable energy cooperation. India moving from biotech industry to a bioeconomy, says Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu. Addressing Global Bio India 2021, states biotechnology has emerged as the backbone of various industrial sectors in recent times. Urges scientists to be ready to combat new and emerging diseases. Time restriction on receiving COVID-19 vaccine jabs lifted. Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan says people can now get vaccinated 24/7. Government also allows all private hospitals to administer COVID vaccine, asks states not to store, reserve, conserve or create a buffer stock of the vaccines. And states not empowered to administer digital media rules, says Information and Broadcasting Ministry. In a letter to states and union territories, clarifies only the centre has the authority to administer the new rules. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has asserted that education is the second biggest focus for the government in the recently announced union budget after the health sector. The Prime Minister was addressing a webinar on Wednesday on effective implementation of the budget provisions regarding the education sector. More details in this report.
Addressing a webinar on implementation of budget in education sector, Prime Minister Modi said to build Atmanirbhar Bharat, the youth of the country needs self-confidence, which is directly connected to their education, knowledge and skill. He said the new education policy has been developed with this key thought.
प्री-नर्सरी से पीएचडी तक राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति के हर प्रावधान को जल्द से जल्द जमीन पर उतारने के लिए अब हमें तेजी से काम करना है। कोरोना की वजह से अगर रफ्तार कुछ धीमी भी पड़ी थी, तो अब उसके प्रभाव से निकलकर हमें जरा गति बढ़ानी भी जरूरी है और आगे बढ़ना भी जरूरी है।
The Prime Minister said in the new national education policy, the use of Indian languages has been encouraged. He added that it is the responsibility of the experts of every language how the best content of the world should be prepared in Indian languages.
स्किल डेवलपमेंट हो या फिर रिसर्च और इनोवेशन, वो कॉम्प्रिहेंशन यानी समझ के बिना संभव नहीं है। इसलिए नई राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति के माध्यम से देश के एजुकेशन सिस्टम में ये सबसे बड़ा सुधार लाया जा रहा है। इस वेबिनार में बैठे तमाम एक्सपर्ट, तमाम शिक्षाविदों से बेहतर ये कौन जानता है कि विषय की समझ में भाषा का एक बहुत बड़ा योगदान होता है। नई नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी में स्थानीय भाषा के ज्यादा से ज्यादा उपयोग के लिए प्रोत्साहन दिया गया है।
Prime Minister Modi noted that the second biggest focus after health in this year's budget is on education, skill, research and innovation.
इस वर्ष के बजट में हेल्थ के बाद जो दूसरा सबसे बड़ा फोकस है वो एजुकेशन, स्किल, रिसर्च और इनोवेशन पर ही है। देश के यूनिवर्सिटी, कॉलेज और R&D इंस्टीट्यूशंस को में बेहतर सिनर्जी आज हमारे देश के सबसे बड़ी जरूरत बन गई है। इसी को ध्यान में रखते हुए ग्लू ग्रांट का प्रावधान किया गया है, जिसके तहत अभी 9 शहरों में इसके लिए जरूरी मैकेनिज्म तैयार किए जा सके।
The Prime Minister added that India has tested the hydrogen vehicle and now the country has to make itself industry ready to utilize hydrogen as a fuel for transport. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
The Union Cabinet, chaired by Prime Minister Modi on Wednesday, approved 2 memorandums of understanding with France and Fiji. The agreements are in the fields of renewable energy and agriculture. The government approved the signing of the MOU between India and France on renewable energy cooperation. The MOU was signed in January this year. The objective of the MOU is to establish the basis for promotion of bilateral cooperation in the field of new and renewable energy on the basis of mutual benefit, equality and reciprocity. It covers technologies relating to solar, wind, hydrogen and biomass energy. In addition, the Cabinet also approved a MOU between India and Fiji for cooperation in agriculture and allied sectors. This MOU will be effective from the date of its signature and will remain in force for a period of 5 years. The centre has told all states and union territories that the power to administer the new rules on digital media publications has not been delegated to them. In a letter, the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting clarified that these powers have not been delegated to the state governments, district magistrates or police commissioners. On rules related to OTT and digital media platforms announced last month, a code of ethics and 3-tier grievance redressal mechanism would be applicable. OTT platforms would have to self-classify the content into 5 age-based categories: U, that's universal; UA, that's 7+; UA, 13+ years; UA, 16+; and A, adult. Publishers of news on digital media would be required to observe norms of journalistic conduct of the Press Council of India and the program code under the Cable Television Networks Regulation Act, providing a level playing field between print, TV and digital media. The government has emphasized on integration of road, rail and waterways to achieve one nation, one market. Addressing the Maritime India Summit 2021, Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal said that the government is working on multi-modal logistic solutions to bring down the cost of transportation and increase supply chain efficiency. He said the government is working on 3 mantras for the infrastructure sector, which are upgrade, create and dedicate. Piyush Goyal said that in the past 6 years, the capacity of India's major ports has almost doubled. He also said that the government has developed smart cities, industrial parks and integrated ports with the coastal economic zones. Ports, Shipping and Waterways Minister Mansukh Mandavia said that a meeting was held with the CEOs of Indian and global maritime companies.
I appeal to all the stakeholders who have joined this Maritime India Summit to utilize this opportunity to transform from being service providers to knowledge providers and knowledge partners. I think if we reinvent with technology-driven solutions like robotics, automation, artificial intelligence, big data analytics, and make our sector safe. By safe, I mean sustainable, agile, futuristic, and efficient.
ये इंटरनेशनल शिपिंग कंपनीज है वो इंडिया में पीपीपी मोड से इंडिया में ट्रेनिंग इंस्टीट्यूट चालू करेंगे और इंडिया में जॉब क्रिएशन के एक महत्वपूर्ण अपॉर्चुनिटी ओपन होगी.
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has called upon scientists and researchers to be always ready to combat new and emerging diseases. He said that COVID-19 pandemic has reinforced the need to be ever vigilant to tackle an outbreak of sudden and unforeseen epidemics and pandemics. Virtually addressing the valedictory and award session of Global Bio India 2021 from Chennai on Wednesday, the Vice President said that biotechnology has emerged as the backbone of various industrial sectors in recent times, adding that the government has eased regulatory approvals for entrepreneurs in the biotech sector. He also said that India is in a unique position to transition from the biotech industry to a bioeconomy. He also lauded the Department of Biotechnology for working relentlessly to mitigate the COVID-19-induced health crisis through the development of diagnostics, vaccines, and novel protection equipment, and also expressed happiness that India is currently at the forefront of fighting the pandemic. And with that, time for a short break here. More news and updates will continue on the other side. Do stay with us.
Do you know which part of the Constitution deals with establishment of State and Union Public Service Commission? Your options are A. Part 14, B. Part 11, C. Part 12 and D. Part 17. See the correct answer tonight at 9:30 p.m. only on Rajya Sabha television.
Defeat coronavirus. Let us always remember, wear a mask, wash hands, follow physical distancing. Together, we'll succeed. Together, we'll win against COVID-19.
Welcome back. You're watching News Tonight. The Deputy Chief Minister of Gujarat, Nitin Patel, on Wednesday presented a 2,27,000 crore rupees budget for the year 2021-22 in the State Assembly with 59% allocation for development works. Saying that the state's economy is recovering from the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, Nitin Patel, who holds the finance portfolio, did not increase the taxes or introduce new ones. The budget estimates show a revenue surplus of 587.88 crore rupees. The Finance Minister of Gujarat announced the allocation of 32,000 crore rupees for education sector, while an amount of 1,500 crore rupees has been allocated for the Ahmedabad-Mumbai bullet train project. In Jharkhand, Finance Minister Dr. Rameshwar Oraon on Wednesday presented the budget for the year 2021-22 in the State Assembly at Ranchi. He presented the state budget with a total outlay of 91,277 crore rupees, with an increase of over 7,100 crore rupees in comparison to last year's budget. A provision of 1,200 crore rupees has been made in the budget for waiving off the farmers' loans. And let's now get you all the news from the poll-bound states. BJP President JP Nadda on Wednesday met Union Home Minister Amit Shah at his residence in New Delhi to discuss strategies for the upcoming assembly elections in Assam. Assam Chief Minister Sarbanand Sonowal, his cabinet colleague Himanta Biswa Sarma, among others, were also present during the meeting. Discussions on the selection of candidates were held during the meeting. According to sources, BJP and its two Assam allies, the AGP and the UPPL, are expected to finalize their seat sharing for the upcoming state polls. And the Central Election Committee of the BJP is expected to meet on Thursday to finalize its first list of candidates for the 5 assembly polls, with top party leaders, including Prime Minister Narendra Modi, expected to attend the meeting. Party President JP Nadda and Home Minister Amit Shah will also be present during the meeting. The party is likely to clear the list of candidates for the first phase of the polls, scheduled for the 27th of March in Assam and West Bengal. Meanwhile, the Congress party has called a meeting of the State Executive Committee in Tamil Nadu on Friday. The Congress had one round of talks on Tuesday, but there was no progress on seat sharing. Tamil Nadu AICC in charge Dinesh Gundu Rao said meetings on seat sharing are slated to be held on Thursday and Friday. Union Minister and senior BJP leader Nitin Gadkari held a roadshow in Purulia districts Jhalda and Kochila on Wednesday. He expressed confidence of BJP's victory in the state and targeted the ruling Trinamool Congress government for failing to deliver on its promises. Listen in.
बंगाल की तस्वीर बदल जाएगी। गांव गरीब मजदूर किसान का कल्याण होगा। महिला पुरुषों को रोजगार मिलेगा, युवाओं को रोजगार मिलेगा और सुखी समृद्ध संपन्न बंगाल हिंदुस्तान के प्रगतिशील और समृद्ध राज्यों में निर्माण होगा। इसी बात के लिए आपका आशीर्वाद मांगने के लिए मैं आया हूं।
President Ramnath Kovind on Wednesday received the first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. He was administered the vaccine at the Army's Research and Referral Hospital in Delhi. The president thanked all doctors and healthcare workers for successfully implementing the world's largest vaccination drive and also urged all eligible citizens to get themselves vaccinated. Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri and his wife Lakshmi also received their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine at the Yashoda Super Speciality Hospital in Ghaziabad's Kaushambi. And the Chief Minister of Kerala, Pinarayi Vijayan, also took the first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine on the day and urged people to take part in the drive without any hesitation. The Governor of Meghalaya, Satyapal Malik, and Chief Minister of Goa, Pramod Sawant, also received the first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. Beginning from the 1st of March, the second phase of the vaccination drive targets people above 60 years of age and those above 45 years with comorbidities. The government has lifted the time restriction on receiving the COVID-19 vaccine in order to increase the pace of immunization. Health Minister Harshvardhan on Wednesday said that citizens can now get vaccinated round the clock according to their convenience. The centre has also allowed all private hospitals to function as COVID-19 vaccination centres. States and union territories have been advised to utilize 100% capacities of the private hospitals that are functioning as COVID-19 vaccination centers. They've also been urged not to store, reserve, conserve, or create a buffer stock of the COVID-19 vaccines. Over 1,56 lakh vaccine doses have been administered in the country through 3,12,188 sessions till date. The beneficiaries include over 67 lakh healthcare workers who have received the first dose of the vaccine and 27 lakh healthcare workers who have been administered the second dose. Besides, 55 lakh frontline workers have also received the first dose, while 834 frontline workers who have received the second dose of the vaccine so far. 71,896 beneficiaries aged more than 45 years with comorbidities and 5,22,458 beneficiaries aged above 60 years have been administered the first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. India's COVID-19 tally has risen to 1.11 crore, with 14,989 new infections reported from different parts of the country in the last 24 hours. With 13,123 recoveries in the same period, the total recoveries in the country have crossed 1.08 crore. The country's COVID-19 recovery rate has reached 97.06%. The death toll has increased to 1,57,346, with 98 new deaths reported in the last 24 hours. And Hyderabad-based firm Bharat Biotechs said on Wednesday that its COVID-19 vaccine, Covaxin, has demonstrated an interim vaccine efficacy of 81% in the phase 3 clinical trials. The trials involved 25,800 subjects across 21 sites. The company said that Covaxin showed high clinical efficacy trend against COVID-19, as well as significant immunogenicity against the rapidly emerging variants. Covaxin has been indigenously developed by Bharat Biotech in collaboration with the Indian Council of Medical Research and the National Institute of Virology. Covaxin and Oxford AstraZeneca's Covishield are the two vaccines that are currently being administered in the country. World Hearing Day is observed on the 3rd of March to raise awareness about the measures that can be taken to prevent hearing loss. The theme for World Hearing Day 2021 is Hearing Care for All, Screen, Rehabilitate, Communicate. On the occasion, Dr. Harshvardhan released WHO's World Report on Hearing. The report says that by 2050, around 2.5 billion people around the world will face some kind of hearing loss. The Health Minister also virtually inaugurated 6 new outreach service centers for communication disorders across the country.
Today, we reminded that our hearing is fragile. We must care for it and protect it. Around the world, 1 billion people are at risk of developing hearing loss due to their everyday listening habits. 450 million people already have disabling hearing loss. The vast majority of them do not have access to the services and products that could assist them. WHO is working to make sure that, in line with the spirit of health for all, hearing care is a fundamental part of universal health coverage and fully integrated with the national health systems.
2021 को जो है हमने वास्तव में हेयरिंग लॉस से जो उसके दुष्प्रभाव से जो पीड़ित लोग हैं, बच्चे हैं, बुजुर्ग हैं, उनके लिए अगर हम लोग कुछ कर पाए तो मुझे लगता है ये वर्ल्ड हेयरिंग डे पर जो ये आज सेलिब्रेशन हुआ है, 6 ये जो हमारे सेंटर्स जो है इसके लिए आउटरीच सर्विस सेंटर्स आज शुरू किए गए हैं, उन प्रदेशों के लोगों को भी हम कर्नाटक के और भुवनेश्वर ये जो उड़ीसा और बिहार के लोगों को भी बधाई देते हैं कि उनको कुछ ना कुछ नया इस दिशा में करने के लिए एक सेंटर मिला है और सब जगह पर जैसा बताया गया कि लेटेस्ट जो है इक्विपमेंट्स और ये सब मिलेंगे। ये सारे इक्विपमेंट 40 साल पहले बहुत सारी चीजें, ये बैरा टेस्ट जो है वो मेडिकल कॉलेज में भी नहीं होता था।
And World Wildlife Day was also observed on Wednesday. Every year, the day is celebrated to raise awareness about the world's wild animals and plants. The theme of this year's Wildlife Day is Forests and Livelihoods, Sustaining People and Planet. Vice President M. Naidu called for putting in dedicated efforts to save and preserve the wildlife and create greater awareness on the need to maintain a healthy ecological balance on the planet. The Vice President laid emphasis on the need for making environment-friendly choices and also ensuring that natural habitats are not disturbed so as to hand over a healthier planet to our future generations. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also extended his gratitude to all those working towards wildlife protection. Taking to Twitter, the Prime Minister said that India is seeing a steady rise in the population of various animals. He added that everything should be done for preserving forests and providing safe habitat for the animals. And before we leave, Rajya Sabha TV once again wants to make an appeal to you to stay safe from the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. Maintain COVID-appropriate behavior. Remember to wear your face masks, wash your hands and face regularly, and also ensure that you maintain physical distancing whenever you step outside. These simple precautions are all that it takes on our part to defeat the pandemic, which is not over yet. Take care, good night, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.